Hey guys, in this segment, we're actually going to be covering different ways that you can increase the value of your backdrops by using a couple of different embellishments that I'm going to show you how to properly install. Many event professionals really feel like they want to charge more money for their backdrops. However, they really don't have no idea on how they're actually going to do that. So what we're going to do is cover different elements and embellishments such as crystal curtains. We're going to do some uplighting, we're going to do some tiebacks, and some chandeliers. And I'm going to show you the very easy way in how you can charge more money doing amazing designs that's going to wow your clients. And guess what? They're going to have no problem paying you your worth. So let's get in. Event draping is one of those things that can really get your creative juices flowing. I've seen so many elements and accessories through the years that have been mind-blowing and have really helped me actually create some of my favorite masterpieces. One of my most favorite elements is actually bling. Bling is just one easy way to actually create that wow factor, right? One of the most common ways to add bling to your draping is simply by adding some crystal curtains. So whether you're actually buying your curtains pre-made or you're DIYing them yourself, they are a really great tool for increasing the value of your backdrops. In this segment, you're going to really learn all about buying them, storing them, and installing them, right? So let's jump into it. So now let's talk about buying them, right? When you're shopping for your crystal curtains, you should really kind of expect to pay at least 20 bucks. They can range from $20 to about 35 to 40 bucks. And one of my favorite places to shop is actually Shop Wild Things. I love all of their bling accessories, their crystal curtains and everything simply because you can customize it to exactly what you want, right? You can choose the size, the shape, and even the color of whatever you want your design to be. This is super awesome. Why? Because you can get crystal curtains in metallic, you can get iridescent, you can get bold colors, you can get gold, red, blue, purple, you name it, guess what? They have it. And the other thing you want to consider is the various different other way. And one of the other main things you want to consider is the various different structures of the crystal curtains themselves. We're about to cover how you can actually get them created. It'll be on a metal rod, a fabric sleeve, or a plastic rod. And these names actually refer to the structure that hold the gorgeous crystal curtains in place, right? So metal rod for me is actually one of my favorites because it's super sturdy, it's easy to use, and also easy to transport. The other perk is that you can actually add and remove some of your strands so you can really customize it even further. Now the other option that we're going to discuss is the fabric sleeve. Now the fabric sleeve has its own perks as well, right? Because it's super easy to store, and you also can control how full of a design you want. Because it's a sleeve and it's made out of fabric, you can bunch it up together to make it super full, or you can keep it completely stretched to maximum width to keep it at its desired, or you can keep it stretched out at maximum width for the normal look. And lastly, we're going to actually cover the plastic rod and the benefits and the versatility of having that item as well. I used to use plastic rods a lot because it was flexible and you can bend it. However, if you're trying to really do a flat backdrop, I highly suggest the metal because it's easier to install. So right now we are about to get into the installation process and show you exactly how easy it is to do. So now we're about to go into the installation process of how to install your crystal curtains. And I'm going to start with the metal rod that I've discussed with you guys earlier. So what you'll be using is actually 2 C hooks. They're shaped in the shape of a C, and they're like super sturdy. You can also use S hooks. However, I do not because they are used for a specific design. So I'm going to show you how to use the C hooks. So what you want to do is pick up your rod and you just want to unravel it. And this is actually how you're going to store your crystal curtains. And you will see that video in the next segment. So you just continuously unravel. Now you're going to take your C-hook, just like this, and you're going to attach the little, it's like a little clasp here. You're going to insert that directly onto the C-hook. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now the key here is actually to have your C-hooks on the furthest end of the crystal curtain. Otherwise, it'll be off balance. So if you have it someplace like here, as you can see, it's not even and it can easily just be off balance. So you want to make sure that they're on the furthest end. Just like that, right? Now this is how you would attach the metal rod crystal curtain. Now I'm going to show you how to actually utilize the sleeve. So this is the sleeve. And you don't want to really take apart any of your zip ties or anything, such as these, prior to you lifting your unit, because they'll get all tangled up. And if you've seen in a previous video, you saw how frustrating that could be. So you just want to slide it onto your crossbar. Just like that, just like a drape. So if you are using the sleeve crystal curtains or the fabric sleeve, you would need to utilize a crossbar strictly for this alone. So if you're trying to do a double panel or something like that, you would need to use 2 crossbars. So you just extend it the width you desire. And then this, lastly, we're going to be using the flexible bendable rod. Now, like I've mentioned, I primarily don't use these for flat backdrops. I normally would use these if I am possibly covering up a column or a pillar or something like that. Or maybe if I'm creating like some kind of circle embellishment to hang from a ceiling, these are perfect for that. And if you're doing that, all you do is you just take it, form a complete circle, secure it with, if you're using zip ties or whatever you're going to use, and then there you have a complete circle column, right? But for the sake of this instruction, we are going to take our C-hooks, and on this kind of rod, there are 3 different holes along the rod. So you just want to insert your C-hook. Let's start with the middle, give us some balance. Okay, so for the sake of not having to force the C-hook through or applying a lot of pressure, we actually are going to go to the S-hook. So the S-hook is a little thinner, and this, like things like this, I would use it for because it's not as thick. But I still would use my C-hooks as extra, you know, just like as extra security measure, because these S-hooks are really thin. They don't have a whole lot of support, such as the C-hooks. So, only thing you're going to do is you're going to attach your rod, same way, using the S-hooks. Now, just like I've mentioned, this is really why I don't like using the bendable rod. Because even though it's up there, it's not as flat as the other rods. This is completely flat, straight across, right? Nice and even. This is completely flat, nice and even. And this is kind of, I mean, it's flat, but it kind of pokes out a little bit. So it just depends on the look you're going for, right? So if you want to bunch your curtains up, like I said, to get a desired look, if you're using the fabric, then you would just simply bunch it up. Or maybe you don't want an entire 3 feet of coverage and you just maybe want a foot. Then there you go, right? That's the biggest benefit of the fabric. Now this, like I said, the rod is my absolute favorite. So once you get all of your crystal curtains, however you're going to design them, you don't start really removing your removing your chenille stems until you are at the desired height. So for now, since I'm only at 6 feet, I can remove them down to about 6 feet. I would not remove all of them because they get away from you really fast. So I'll just remove that one. Remove this one. And remove this one. Now that for me probably will be good enough until I get to raising my unit a little higher. So this one, same thing, I will just remove here. This one. And then that would be good enough for me. And this one is pretty loose, low enough because the next tie is right there. So now you're going to just lift your unit to its desired height. Okay, so now that you've raised your unit more, now you can start untangling them or untying them even further, right? And as you can see, these curtains right here are actually a shorter length. So one thing I want you to be mindful of is when you are using crystal curtains, definitely get the size that's going to touch the floor. So I would not suggest you get the 6-foot units unless you're doing a short backdrop because you don't want them hanging, such as this one here. You definitely want them touching the floor so it completes the design. Then once you have them all out, you just want to make sure that they all are loose and none are stuck to each other. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing for gold. Now these gold ones is very long. These are actually 12 foot long. So unless I am going to utilize them at 12 feet, I would not untie all of my zip ties. So the last one I'm going to keep there. Ooh. Well, I'll undo that one so you don't see it. But the goal is to have them not get tangled up. Oops. Okay. So this is my last one. Untie there. These also are super long. These are 12 feet as well. Just want to comb them all through. And when you are using these, you definitely want to make sure you have extra crystals available because sometimes you will lose some crystals, right? So main thing you want to be mindful of here is definitely don't have crystal curtains that are short, right? You want them to touch the floor, you want them to have a little puddle, and that's going to give you a real elegant design, right? However, if you are possibly doing a swag with your crystal curtains, such as this, then it wouldn't necessarily matter because I'm quite sure you're going to have drape to cover the shorter pieces, right? So when you have it going all the way to the floor, you just want to make sure you have a puddle, make sure it's all lined up, all very neat. Don't have your crystal curtains just sitting there bunched up just like that. It looks like you don't care, and quite naturally, your client won't like that, right? So that's just the easiest way that you can add these to your backdrops to create not only more value, but also demand more money, right? And it's not really that much work to do. So keep in mind that you can get various different colors, various different shades, various different shapes, and also various different lengths, right? So in the next video, I'm going to show you the proper way to not only take these down, but to also store them so you don't end up frustrated because they get tangled together. So guys, if you liked the video that you just saw, guess what? You can click either one of these videos below to get even more tips, tricks, and resources, right? But don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell so you can get the notifications so you know every Tuesday and Thursday when I upload a new video. Stay tuned, be blessed, and again, share this video. Have anything you'd like to see specifically? Put it down below in the comments and I'll be sure to get it on the schedule.